Okay, I'm trying some physic optics experiments here to see what I'm filming. But what I wanted to talk about is it's sometimes hard for me to start talking about things because there is a level of understanding that I assume exists the same as in my brain at the moment of the discussion. And then I realize, yeah, maybe I have to explain what I'm even talking about, like where I'm coming from. So some understandings that I have about life are everybody's perfect, right? You are perfect. You're here for your purpose. You had a plan, and to leave that purpose, you came in with a certain set of attributes and also went through certain types of challenges. So you're always perfect and always where you're supposed to be at. And that's kind of one part of it. Another part is everybody's always acting from like their perfect self. Hence, everything you do is perfect. Like, but that's already, so that's my understanding, right? So there is this idea that spiritual people, it's funny, like labels and stuff like that, but you would hear sometimes that people would talk about, yeah, everybody's doing their best. You have to understand their conditioning, their circumstance, their beliefs, then you would be able to understand them. And then it goes on like, that doesn't mean I condone it. I would have never done that. But they're doing their best. That's very interesting to hear. So you assume that if you were in their place, with their mission, with their experiences, you would have done differently. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Wrong is a wrong word. Not the word I want to use, because I didn't think it's wrong. I just think it kind of brought up this certain awareness to my attention of, yeah, it just jumped at me. Like, are you trying to create connection or are you trying to create separation? Because when we talk about like compassion and forgiveness and acceptance of other people's place, where they at right now, we can talk about like politicians, we can talk about like famous people, we can talk about our neighbor that done something that we didn't like, and out of understanding that they're perfect and they're doing the best at all times, they're like, yeah, even a person murdering somebody, they're doing their best. They think that's the best way to go, right? And that like idea really helps to bring compassion and connection. And how much should you need to be hurting inside to project this amount of suffering onto another person. If there's, we're discussing action that actually like visibly harmed somebody, right? But then this talking about everybody's acting out of their level of awareness brings immediately this idea that there are levels. Like, I'm on this level, you're on that level, this person on that level, that person on that level. And I was on this level and they were on that level, so the poor them, they don't know better, so I have to forgive them. So it creates this hierarchy and the false sense of superiority, and it creates this idea of, they just didn't know any better. And even though superficially, like in the words, I've been not following, but like leading myself with this idea for a very long time now. Like a few years, I've been just kind of using it as a tool of, yeah, bringing myself kind of more into understanding and just a state of gratitude rather than constantly being in a state of victimhood. Even when I was very, very severely a victim in my brain, I still was like, oh, people have reasons, like, you know, they have reasons to do this. So that kind of brought me a certain level of peace, and it kind of installed itself into my brain to the level where I forgot to question it, or like I just started taking it for granted. And now when I heard it from somebody else, I realized that literally, yeah, maybe my previous version of they had their reasons is like a little bit more advanced, because it's like universal, right? I know that for every action everybody has reasons. They're acting from their best. But when you go to, oh, they're just on this level of awareness, you're like, okay, I'm good. They're not developed enough yet. And to that, I realized that there was another thing that I've been coming into recently, you know, like in and out, like in certain situations. Of course, it started from like one example, and then I tried to kind of branch out to different life situations. What if actually, when you think about it, everybody's acting out of their level of their awareness? And you're like, oh, they just don't know any better. What if actually you perceiving this situation as harmful or negative or taking it personally? What if you question the fact of that they are giving you a lesson, that you not just that it's just you who's not there yet, that it's you who needs to quote unquote level up? So in that sense, you can still stay in that awareness levels, ideology or idea, but you can harness it to use it for your own good and everybody's good, and like, you know, our collective benefit. Because you just get out of this assumption that, oh, you know, there are people who are more developed than me and there are people who are less developed than me, which is like, you know, ties into so many issues of self-worth, of good versus bad, which are all just judgments, and all these ideas that are completely fake, and they keep us in our head comparing each other back and forth. And I feel like that can be a very, very efficient and useful tool to getting to understanding that we are on this journey all together, and we are all kind of in the place that we're supposed to be, and we're acting the way we're supposed to be acting because that's the way we're capable of acting. But at the same time, in the present moment, in the now, while acting our best, we are capable of questioning and turning things around, if not for the change to be created, but at least for trying things on to see what fits better. And again, acting, perceiving things as something, judging them is also an act, right? It's an act of like discernment. Or you're like, okay, I think what happened to me a second ago was bad. That's also act. And then you move that judgment onto the person. So you have all this background, right? Like all the conditionings, all your expectations, all the internalized ideas, and then you place them onto other person. and you interpret the action as bad, and then you have to be like, oh, but they didn't know better. They didn't know what? That you have all these ideas internalized? That's funny. That's cute. So, this practice, this habit of turning inwards at every step, and flipping it to see how an opposite can as well be true, can be as much true, if not truer, than what you assumed first. So the person that you think did you wrong, but you forgive them because they're on a lower level of awareness, they might as well be on much higher level of awareness, and you're just not there yet to understand. And when we leave this plane of like two-dimensional hierarchies, lower, higher, good, bad, pretty, ugly, smart, stupid, useful, useless, all these binaries are fake as hell, as hell, because hell is fake, because we just imagine it in our heads. So when we lose this idea of steps in awareness, growth in awareness, we can embrace the whole new reality where if I don't understand something, which means I judge it as bad, that's the only reason for you to judge something as bad, because you don't understand the reasons behind what is being done, because people can only do the best. They can not, like, nobody's saying like, I'm gonna do this horrible thing right now because like I'm a horrible person. Even if you have this idea of low self-worth and really strong judgments about yourself, you don't really realize that. The moment you realize that, your actions also change. So at every point you're doing your best. Everybody's doing their best all the time. And when you start judging that action as not the best, that just shows, that you're not understanding them properly. So that shows that you are not on that level of awareness yet. But it's not like, like level up. It's just like a lot of different steps everywhere, like in space, unrelated to each other. They might be higher and lower, but it's just like, just scattered in space. And your life is basically, if your goal is connection and understanding and love and just, building something new as in a position to destroying things, then for you one of the goals might be to get into as much of those understandings as possible. Because we know that truth is also not binary or singular. Truth is not like this is right and this is wrong. This is true, this is not true. If that's my truth, that's true. You might have a different truth. And the more people share their truth, the more opportunities we get for coming closer to the truth, which is like the collection of all these tiny truths. They're not tiny, but like on a bigger scale. We're all like ants walking on this planet. But every interaction with a person or a life experience that you blame onto a person, you realize that this is the chance, the opportunity you get for expanding the truth that you know, for expansion of the space to hold the truth. Because when you only hold on to your own truth, it's like this much. Then you open a bit more to allow more truth in, and then more, and then more, and then more, and eventually it becomes limitless, right? But then even besides that, like it doesn't have to be connected to a person. If we like, move away to include kind of all kinds of experiences, we feel bad. Then also, why are you judging this life experience as bad? That also means that you are not yet at the point of understanding of why it is good. There is no reason for you to have bad experiences. There is no reason for that. And bad good judgment is a human concept. So animal doesn't think something is bad. Animals have instincts. They act on them in a minute, in a moment when something is happening. Then they go back to, living their life in the moment, in the present. But we create all those ideas about people, about experiences, and then we hold on to them, and then we even construct ourself out of those judgments. So this all is fake. So going back, what I'm talking about, what if we consider everybody and everything a teacher? There are moments when it's very easy to do, like, wow, this great wise person, and again, those words are all judgments, right? This great, wise, kind, generous person is giving me a lesson and I'm really grateful. But then this next moment, this annoying person who I really don't want to be interacting with is doing something really bad to me. Which is, nothing has changed. It's again a person with a different truth, with a different plane of awareness. It's not worse, not better. There's no reason to compare. It's just different, as in it's just another brick, but like not to build a wall. It's a brick to build your whole, like, holistic understanding of the world. I can go on forever, and also I can see me because I turned around my phone. I hope I'm remotely somewhere within the frame. What do you think about it? I just keep having realizations. Today is just a very profound day. Actually, every day of my life is like that. I just usually don't have enough motivation to record it. But see you later. See you next time. Okay?